Welcome back to another episode of Modify with Trickfactory Customs. If this is the first time watching or listening, my name is Elvis.
Tim.
Rob. And I'm Chris Ashton from Ruffian Cars.
We've had you on like 2 or 3 times now. I feel like
I love talking with you guys. I honestly do. Yeah. It's always fun.
Yeah, it is a lot of fun, and so we're very excited to have you on again. How many years have you guys been working on this car?
Over the last 2 years, but honestly, we moved shops, and it took 3 months to move and set up and get back to working on cars. So actual work time on this particular car was 10 months, which is the fastest we've ever built a car. But there's good reason for that, in that it's a 35 Plymouth, and the car that we started with was complete. And it had awesome patina on it, original paint. And so we wanted to keep all that and not cut holes and not weld on it. And so the body is very intact. So it just mostly spent time at the paint shop getting buried in clear. And then we started with a complete chassis from a race car, a GT1 race car.
Oh, wow.
And we had brakes, we had suspension, all that stuff. We cut it up and made a new cage and made it fit inside of the Plymouth body. So we had chassis, we had body, and I already had an engine, a V10 Viper engine left over. We were trying to put it in a CUDA, and it wouldn't fit.
Just a leftover engine?
It was sitting on the rack for 2 years, and it was killing me because it's such a cool engine. It's a stroker engine, makes 803 horsepower on pump gas.
Oh my God.
So
damn.
I was dreaming about driving that, and then the project sort of didn't work, and it was sitting on the shelf. So I always wanted to build a hot rod. I was scared to do it. The only reason we built this one was because the nose is long enough to fit a V10 in it. It basically had an inline 6, so it's a really long front end, and it all fit, surprisingly.
Yeah, surprisingly enough. I mean, it fit really good too. Yeah, it looks great.
Yeah, the firewall's it's in the factory location, so there's just enough room.
But what about width though? Because usually with these old like cars from the 30s, you deal with narrow, like it's all narrow inside that engine bay area.
That was the challenge, was the width of the thing, and particularly in the front because the nose tapers in. And so we had to get kind of creative with the tubing and how it supports the front suspension. But we found something that worked really well. It was funny because we kept taking measurements. We had the body and we had the engine, and we knew those would work. And we kept doubting it. Like, we took measurements over and over and over again from the race car chassis because the car was so low and wide. It's like a Trans Am race car. It's a C5 Corvette, so fiberglass body, stickers for headlights kind of a thing, plexi windows all the way around. We kept measuring the back of the chassis and the suspension and everything, and all the measurements said it would work, and we just kept doubting it and doubting it and doubting it. But it's one of those things where like the car went together kind of easy, even though it seems like it would be difficult.
Wow, it's amazing. I mean, starting with a C5 Corvette, full race car tube chassis platform, and putting that Plymouth body on it. I mean, I could see why you would doubt it.
Yeah.
But I mean, you guys truly knocked it out of the park. It is an absolutely gorgeous car.
Thank you.
As you said, I mean, the patina is quite remarkable, and what you guys did to pull all that packaging together is absolutely stunning. So I really hope everybody gets an opportunity to see it, because it is unreal.
Look like it should work, but those fenders just flow so nice over that. Like it looks really good.
We try really hard with everything we do to kind of stay true to like pay some homage and respect to what we're working with and the history and all that kind of stuff. So we've only built muscle cars, and that's all I've ever been around. So it's the first time I've ever sat in like a 30s era car. So like the windshield has a little crank, and you crank it and the windshield rolls out for ventilation and stuff. We kept all that stuff because for me, it's like, I felt like a little kid discovering. How often do you get to discover new car things? Like, it's not all that often as a car person, but going back to the 30s, for me, it was all discovery. So all that stuff we kept. It's like so crazy and funky, and the carbon fenders are almost like sci-fi and futuristic, but the texture in the carbon plays with the texture in the patina paint, and it all just works at the end of the day, and I feel like lucky because it could have gone wrong like so many ways. But everybody's really enjoying it, and everybody kind of has the same reaction. They look at the car, they're looking at it, they're trying to understand it. You can see the gears turning in their mind. They're like, what is this? And then I start telling them about it, and they're like, wait, it's like, slow down. Like, they're like, it's a lot to take in. And that's kind of been the overall reception from everybody. It's just, so we spend a lot of time at the booth talking to people individually and answering questions and trying to get them to understand it because it's so new. And that's what I think is the cool, and again, we didn't intend to do any of that. We literally bought a 35 Plymouth because it fit the engine, you know? So these guys, these classic, like, old school hot rod guys are like, holy shit, you did something cool. Like, nobody's done anything new with these old cars since, you know, for 50 years. Everybody's been doing the same shit. And for me, it's so flattering, but also I feel like undeserved because, like, I just was trying to problem solve. I don't have this amazing, like, vision, forehand knowledge of, like, we're gonna push the hot rod industry or do something cool. It's just like,
isn't that kind of what it all is? Kind of just like problem solving. Like, you have like this vision, this sort of idea, and you're like, how can I make that work? That is kind of like the underlying thing of it all. Paying homage to the Plymouth and adding your own flavor to it. I mean, you got a very distinct flavor. We can see it over and over and over again in every single thing that you've done.
Right.
It is undeniably Ruffian and Chris Ashton. You got a beautiful mind.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
It's, it is quite amazing.
Can you, like, you mentioned, I feel like the carbon fenders, you just glossed over that. Oh yeah, carbon fenders, but
Right.
we were talking the other day and you were telling me about just everything about how those carbon fiber fenders came to exist, and it was a lot more than I would have ever thought, both in expense and in, I guess, time invested into this thing.
Yeah, so I was also unprepared. So you guys know Tim from Industry Garage. I think we talked about it a little bit last time. He came to work for us, and so now Ruffian has this capacity to make carbon parts in-house. And so for a lot of what we have a gauge hood cover over the digital dash, right? So we 3D printed a gauge hood cover, looks good, fits everything. So then we make a mold off that. We lay carbon, vacuum bag it. Seems fine.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm thinking, like, that same kind of process for, like, big fenders. It'll be awesome.
Yeah, easy.
It turns out to be like largely because if you're making just a small piece, it's one thing, but if you're making a big piece and you want to mirror it for the other side, it gets so much more complicated. It took months. Like, we were in it, I think, like 4 months, and we hadn't touched any carbon yet, you know?
Yeah.
And I was like, what? Like, are we making fenders or are we not making? Like, what are we doing? You know? So we had to. So I still like to get in there and make it in 3D and walk around it and get a sense for it and everything. So we had 3D concepts. We work on concepts digitally to try to get a look that we were excited about, that we thought would work. And that was hard because you're dealing with a 35 Plymouth, but also race car chassis, and you're trying to somehow merge those two worlds.
Yeah.
But we actually landed on something. I work with a young kid, Andreas Winnevold. He's in Norway. So we work remotely back and forth, and he must have done 15 fender concepts, you know. But we landed on something that was awesome. So then I start to recreate that with steel rod over top of the wheels and tires and suspension and stuff. Then we foam that, bodywork it, and then you can scan that, and now you got it in the computer. It's only one side. Do that for the front and rear of one side. But then you have to reverse engineer that to CAD file. And people don't know, but if you 3D scan it, it's just a whole bunch of polygons, like a whole bunch of triangles, like millions of them. It's just kind of a mess. And yeah, CAD is like mathematically defined curves and stuff. So they're like, there's not really like resolution there. It's like, it's the more you zoom in, the more resolution is in the curve, you know?
Yeah.
So you have to rebuild it in CAD. And then once you have it built in CAD, then we needed to be able to do a right side and a left side and have them be the same. So we had to pay another company, Advanced Fiberglass. They're in our part of town in Orange County, California.
Yep.
they have a CNC machine that's the size of a pickup truck.
Yeah.
It's huge. And so they have to CNC out of high density foam a full size fender.
Wow.
4 of them.
Yeah.
And then from those, we make molds. And then we pull the molds off, and then we can finally start putting carbon in those molds. And so the whole process took like 6 months. And that was the thing that came in hot, you know, for the reveal last month. It was like the fenders came down to the wire.
Yeah.
Because even once you get the carbon out of the molds, you got to kind of clean it up. You got to fill like maybe little imperfections, resin holes, and then you got to do a bunch of layers of clear to get that all looking good. So it was also we have to bond in like mounting tabs and stuff. So it's just a crazy amount of work. And the CNC, the high density foam, the material is outrageously expensive.
We just
And it's
learned
like,
we got a whole tour about it, and like every step on the tour was like, oh man, this is getting real expensive. Like,
I know.
Yeah.
I was unprepared. I'll tell you, we had a communication error, right? And we were already committed to this process, right? And we got a show coming, and we got to just, no matter what, we got to do it, right? And we're going to work with them, and we get a quote from them, and we're like puckering, like, oh my God, like that is so much money. And I was like, well, it's going to be an amazing car. It's important for us. Like, we just got to forge ahead. We just got to do it. And we got quotes from other people, by the way, and they were better priced. So like, you know, like it's not like they were outrageously priced. Like this is the cost.
Yeah.
You know? So I'm straining to pay that. And then they cut the fenders, and they're like, your fenders are done. And we go to get them, and there's 2 fenders. And it's the fronts.
oh,
Oh my
And we're like, what about the rears? And they're like, oh, we didn't quote you on the rears. And I'm like,
Oh,
wait,
damn.
the cost that I was panicking about was for half.
for a half of it?
Oh, damn. Yeah.
So, I mean, I think we would go we would try to, it's more time internally and more work for my guys, but we would 3D print them next time and then body work those. It's more steps. They wouldn't be as perfect.
Yeah.
If you're trying to make things like precise and perfect and mirrored and everything, and especially if you were doing a production run, you're going to make 5 of these things or whatever, sure, go that way.
Makes sense, yeah.
But for us, yeah, we just do it by hand and but those are lessons you learn, you know. The car shows well, and it really shows everybody that we can do carbon now in-house and really do some pretty radical carbon, because the front fenders are very complicated and big.
They truly are.
Big pieces. When I saw the plugs came in that you guys had machined and was on like 2 pallets, I was like, ooh, yeah, him's in for a rough
They
time.
weigh like 300 pounds each.
Holy.
That's
High density foam. I mean, and you hear foam and you think you could like push it or something, but that stuff, like, it's like wood.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, we went through a very similar sort of tour, and it was like, here's our gigantic CNC, and here's all these different levels of foam, and it was just like compounding, and we're just like, we might have to do this the old-fashioned way, because this is just getting, like, if we were making 10, like you say, it would make perfect sense, but like we did a one-off little trunk spoiler, and I think by the time we were done going through that process, it was like 5 or 6 grand.
But I tell you what, though, 5 years ago, like, I would have never, ever thought that a small shop like us could make a big carbon piece like that. Like, it really does say a lot for how technology is allowing hot rod shops to do more and more and more.
Yeah.
We're doing a project now where we're designing our own suspension, camber curves and all that stuff, and stress testing a chassis and twisting and feeling and checking the forces and everything. Like, the amount of power that we have now and capabilities, like mixing sort of the computer technology, 3D printing and all that stuff, simulation testing and stuff with hot rod building is like, it's like so cool.
The cars are so crazy. Like, we just did our very first chassis, similar process, and like, there's no compromises anymore, because it's like you can test all this stuff, you can print it and prototype it, and then even some of the cars you see in here is like, they're almost OEM level, some of this stuff. Like, it's so cool.
It really is. I want to say Tim and Will are awesome, and you know, but I have a Lamborghini STO, and it has the reason I like it is because it's so race car. You open the doors and the door panel's just all carbon. And so when we needed door panels in the Plymouth, I was like, dude, we got to do it like that. And I didn't expect them to be that quality. But I will I'll show you the door panels. Like they look incredible. It looks comparable to like the Lamborghini stuff. And I'm sure that it's just, at least to me, you know, for what I can see, and I'm not an expert in it. But it's amazing what can be done now on a small scale.
It truly is. I mean, the technology available, the imagination, and the wherewithal to follow through on a game plan, you know, on that scale. It is really is exciting nowadays.
It is.
What you can create, just a matter of commitment, and of course, sometimes opening up that checkbook.
That's the downside, right?
Sometimes.
And that's what gets so scary, because you're investing so much time, and time is money.
Yeah.
You're investing so much time in building these cars and you really don't know. Like we had the car, we had one fender on at a time. We have two fenders on, but they're matte carbon. We don't really know what the car is going to look like until it's all fully assembled at the end of the day.
Yeah.
We test drove it, but it didn't have fenders and it was missing the hood, and just, you know how it is. And so you're so nervous about, is it all going to come together? Is it going to look, I was honestly, I was so scared that it was going to have sort of a Frankenstein, like hideous, like, you know, it's just, you just don't know till you see it.
Well, I mean,
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, I mean, that fear of what is it gonna come together like in the end? Like, what is this? Is my vision correct? I mean, when you're pushing into new boundaries, new sort of ways, I think that's so natural, and like, I commend you on following through with it, sticking to what your vision was. It is so super cool, very inspiring to everybody else that gets a chance to sort of follow along to see it. It is really great.
Kind of what I'm hoping to from the hot, like I picked up that shell for that body for like 11K, which is not nothing, but compared to like building a muscle car, where if you're gonna find a clean muscle car body, rust free and all that stuff, you're gonna pay 50, 60. If it's a Charger, like you're in 100K.
100K for some rusty relic.
Right, exactly. So those cars are out there. Like, people aren't building Plymouths, you know. If you're gonna buy a 32 Ford, sure, you're gonna pay a lot of money for that. But there's still a lot of really cool bodies and shells and cars to start with out there that are not demanding a lot of money if you get creative and just do something fun and different with it.
Absolutely.
Speaking of which, so what are your thoughts on them making, I'm actually curious to know you guys' thoughts, because if you go to one of the booths in Central Hall, they're making like recreation bodies in China. Have you seen that?
I walked by that when we were first setting up, and it took me a minute to understand what it was, what was going on. Yeah, that's pretty wild. And honestly, I don't know. You don't know how much they've like finessed and fixed, but actually, I mean, just looking at it from 5 feet away, it looked like the parts.
Looks like the real deal.
Like the parts fit pretty good.
Yeah, that's my only concern, is when you start trying to fit like the OEM trim and gaskets and all those pieces, if it comes up short. But same thing, walking by, I was like, man, you're way ahead of the game if you grab one of those.
And the cost is insane. It's like $8,000 or $9,000 for a body.
That's wild.
And we were talking to the lady yesterday, and she was saying that they're doing it depends on how much, I guess, interest is in the chassis. So like, if like I think they said 30 right now. If like 30 people are coming down and be like, okay, can you guys do this? And then if you supply the chassis, they essentially give it to you almost for free, and then they develop it. And then the more you buy, so like if 4 of us were just to be like, oh, we want all Datsuns, the price drops down each person by like a few thousand. And so next year, I think they started doing like Porsche 964. And I'm like, what's that gonna happen to the Porsche market?
The Porsche guys are not gonna be stoked about that.
Well, they brought the hood and like the roof and stuff that they've already done, and it looks pretty good.
Well, that that still speaks to the technology, right? Like, if we're getting cool technology to build cool shit, then if you're a bigger company and you have even more money, like you can also
You're making the technology, you're probably a little ahead of us.
Yeah, then you're ahead of us, and you can make some really cool shit for even cheaper.
Yeah.
So it's a good time, honestly. Like I've had in Southern California, we've had a lot of like normal classic car shows that have been around for 10, 15 years, like close, and not because they don't get the participation and stuff anymore.
Yeah.
But then you come here and you see stuff like that, and you see a lot of new builds. And I talked to a number of young people that are looking to get into it, that want to build cars and stuff. So it's weird because I think maybe things are just changing. The worry was that people were going away from custom car building and muscle cars and car collecting and hot rodding and stuff. But I think it's just the landscape is changing, right? The type of cars being built and the tools and everything. It's just organic and it's shifting around. And it's like whether or not we can like ride the wave or or get drowned by it, you know?
Yes. Yeah, the tools definitely, they're getting way more affordable, way more accessible. Like even looking at some of the like new tech and all of that, we were just chatting with even some of the guys from like, was it Fox or something? I forgot where we're at yesterday. And like the amount of technology that is accessible now to normal guys like us, not just like the big OEMs, is actually wild.
Yeah.
So yeah, even like, for example, like even 3D scanners, how cheap they've gotten. Like anybody can go, but I mean, that's just a start. It's not, you still have to design the part,
I know,
reverse engineer. But
Andreas, I told you, the concept guy, right?
Yeah.
So he's just such a car nerd himself that like I'll pay him to do a concept. I really pay for like a 2D concept. He does that. Then he starts working in 3D because he wants to.
Yeah.
Right. But then he came and visited the shop, and the realities of like concept to the real car, there's always changes that you have to make. And so we've already made some changes, you know, and he gets out his phone and he starts scanning it with his cell phone.
Oh yeah.
Right. And it's not like high resolution stuff that you would print, but it's high enough that he can take that back into the 3D program and update the model and make it look more accurate.
that is so awesome.
So it's like I had 3D scanners. I bought some in 2019 when I was doing my GT40 because I was doing those crazy headlights.
Yes.
And that bucket is a really weird shape, organic shape. There's no straight edge to measure from. So I had to scan it so I could bring in a computer to build the headlights. And one of those scanners cost $20,000.
Wow.
And now you can buy the same technology scanner for what, like $2,000 or something.
Yeah.
And people are scanning stuff with their phones. Like,
Even the phones are okay enough to like work with for reference even.
For
Well,
what?
depending on what you're working on, right?
Exactly. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it truly is. I feel like we have a responsibility, like, you know, in our generation now to like inspire the next, the new landscape of creatives to keep moving forward. I think you're doing a great job doing that. Taking things like the Plymouth, like maybe a body that nobody ever wanted, and creating something really amazing and remarkable. It's out there for us all to do. Chris, you're kind of leading the way. You're showing us all the possibilities.
I appreciate that. I'm just trying to build cool shit that I want to drive.
Yeah.
And I appreciate
And
it.
so
And that's it.
how is it at the shop right now? Like how, because you guys have moved, there have been changes,
Right.
all
We
of that.
touched on
So
the
what-
move, and we just did a move, and it took us 3 months.
Yeah.
And it was extremely challenging.
Yeah.
Like, it was horrible, like
difficult.
actually horrible.
Very
So I was
difficult.
like, the fact that you did this and all these things that we're chatting about so casually, while having that going on, it was like, it almost broke us. Like, it was just, it felt like it was never going to end.
Yeah.
And at the same time, all this like regret settled in because we had all this stuff. Like, you casually mentioned having a Viper motor sitting on the shelf, and it's like, as we're moving the stuff, like, oh man, this has just been sitting here, just, you know,
Right.
and then we just start finding more and more and more stuff, and it's just like, man, we have wasted so much money. We got to do something with this stuff.
It's inevitable, right? Like, just stuff doesn't work out. I've got so many bell housings, and I need to do like a yard sale so people want to come to my shop and buy some parts. for
That's a
cheap.
full-time job too, though.
Yeah,
I've
it
done
is.
that, and then by the end, I just want to throw it all in garbage. I was like, it's all out in the street if you guys want it.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. But we're, well, I have 10 employees now, which is rad, and we're working on 4 cars at a time. Because for me,
4, okay.
yeah, because 2 people on one car, like if you get 3-4 people on a car, which we do when we're crunching, like to push the Plymouth through, everybody was on it, but it's a madhouse. You're tripping over tools,
Over
and,
to
like,
each other, and
and you can't
like
do
those guys using whatever you were using. And if he doesn't need it, he'll take it from you.
There's that too.
Yeah. So we try to spread out. We're doing 4 at a time. A year ago this time, it was all my builds out of pocket to promote the company and stuff. So 3 years later now, half the builds. 2 of them are client builds. 2 of them are still our own builds. So I feel like we're halfway there.
That's amazing.
To where we want to be, but we're doing it our way.
Yes.
We're not rushed to get there. We're trying to be choosy about the clients. We're trying to be choosy about the projects, and we're still trying to keep the quality and do a good job. And it seems to be working. It's slow.
Yeah.
To get there, to get where we want. But I knew that going into it. I've owned a business before in video games, and it takes time. It takes so much time to build a company and to get to the point where you want to be.
Yeah.
If you ever
I don't think you ever get there.
Yeah.
You just keep reinventing yourself.
Yeah, so true, right? You're always raising your own bar. You do it every single time.
Right.
And then what about because we've seen, for example, in the past, I don't know if you've seen like the Zinger, is it that the company with
the
all
Zinger,
the like organic, what did they call it?
So
Generating all of that.
3D
Yeah.
So this is a very broad question, but how long until you think that you guys would adopt something like that? I don't know how far we're away from the technology, but I don't know if you've started to, because you guys like to push the envelope on a lot of your stuff. So have you even thought about, this would be cool to integrate this into a future build and what that would look like?
I don't think we ever set out to adopt the technology, or it's just you have an idea for a project where it's like, we have to build this. And then you run into like the difficulty of like, how do we do this if it's a new thing, right? Like, I don't think sometimes we can get sidetracked and make things too complicated. There's a lot of room.
I can attest to that.
Yeah, I'll say like the race car chassis that we got, that body or that chassis, who knows like how accurate that the table was when they built it, the fab table and stuff, the jigs and everything. But that car raced for multiple seasons competitively, and I'm sure it got stuffed into a wall more than once and then rebuilt and whatever. So the hardest thing for us with that chassis was that nothing was square and nothing is mirrored. Whether intentionally or not, because they're offsetting weight or whatever, but like nothing is the same left to right. And so it's very difficult for us. You build a side skirt for the left side, it's not going to fit on the right side. You have to build it again for the right side. But at the end of the day, the car is rad and it goes down the road straight, and it kind of shows you that like you don't have to get overly complicated with things. Like you can still do amazing stuff with like basic tools and simple processes. So for us, it's just a matter of like, what's the shortest, most efficient way to get to the end result that we want.
Okay.
And if that means like, you'll see like, I know in SolidWorks now, they're starting to do some of that.
Yes.
The companies, it's to their benefit to make that tool available to us in the future and make it affordable and stuff like that. So I think it will come as the technology sort of trickles down and everybody wants to adopt it and stuff. I think it definitely makes sense the way that they're doing things. It's neat. So I don't know. I like to kind of float and adapt and just take it easy, go step by step. And I don't worry too much about the big picture. Maybe that's short-sighted.
No, I think you guys are still doing a pretty amazing job. Like it's pretty cool. And so you said for this new project that you're working on now, because for the Corvette chassis that you guys did, you took pickup points for all the suspension and designed your own chassis like around it essentially. So you're doing something similar, or like with the new chassis that you're working on now? Is it that just everything from scratch? No, like you guys' own geometry, everything?
Right, because I tell you the problem, and is that if you buy, and we have 3 Roadster Shop chassis in the shop right now, but if you buy a Roadster Shop chassis, it's a great chassis. Yeah. They're making it so that if you put that in a muscle car and you don't have a cage, it still handles better, it's still more rigid, it's still fantastic. Problem is, we want to do race car things, and we want to cage it. But now I'm literally just adding like dead weight. It will stiffen the chassis, but I'm adding a ton. So if you were to take that race car chassis that we have in the Plymouth and cut the cage off of it, the whole chassis would be flimsy and it's too lightweight. It cannot stand on its own. It needs, the cage is integral.
Structure, yes.
Yeah. So nobody, maybe it's a thing for somebody in the future, but nobody's designing chassis to have a half cage or a full cage or a 6-point cage, until you get into full racing stuff. So for us, it just feels like we can't get that in the aftermarket right now. So we're just gonna have to do that ourselves.
Make it, do it.
So it's just more of like, you know, I like, because of the race stuff, I want the car to weigh 3,000 pounds. The Plymouth's 3,100 pounds with a steel body on it. It's only
Not bad.
400 pounds heavier than when it was a race car with like no glass, no steel. So I want to optimize, which means ultimately that we're gonna have to kind of do it ourselves in the future. So that's kind of the why we're pushing that direction.
So this new build that you're doing, it's not gonna be like built like a roadster shop chassis or like box tubing. It's gonna be more like what did they call it? Like just the whole thing is just full tubes.
Yeah,
Or the structure.
all custom.
Wow.
Full tube chassis.
Oh, okay.
But it's not what you think.
Okay.
We're gonna take all that knowledge and we'll be able to build a cool muscle car or whatever with it. But this thing is, do you know the Aliens movie?
Yes.
Do you know the APC in it?
No.
That armored personnel carrier in it that Sigourney
yes,
blows
I
the
read that,
transaxle in? A client's paying us to build a full-size working replica of that.
Oh.
So this thing's 27 feet long. What? And the original
tires that are like.
So we're running those. They're 58-inch tall, street legal tires.
Street legal.
Yeah, that's the tallest street legal tire you get.
Oh my
The real So this guy has the largest collection of Aliens collectible,
Stuff.
like real props and stuff from the movie in the world.
Okay.
And so he has the original blueprints from the full-size version that they've built for the film. The original tires were 62 inches, but we can't get that big street legal.
Street legal, yeah.
So 58 is the biggest we can go. So and also that thing was 10 feet wide. Street legal width is 8.5 feet. So it's 8.5 feet. So it's narrowed a little bit, but still, like 1-to-1 scale aside from those changes, which is so my background is video games.
Yes.
And video games is a ton of sci-fi.
Yep.
And Aliens is like this holy grail of an IP of inspiration for video games and stuff. So for me, even though it's not what we do at all, I was like, please let me work on this project because you will not find another shop that's more passionate about it than our shop. But it's such a crazy, unruly task and so scary with the scale and the weights and everything that we have to have some level of certainty before we build it that the chassis is going to handle it, that it's going to handle the weight, that it'll turn and that it'll go over bumps, and like we've got to be some margin of safety. You know, so we have to lean on computer and simulations and stuff to do all of that. So we've been in the computer for 8 months.
Oh my God.
On this thing, and we haven't touched a real physical. I've ordered a bunch of parts, but we haven't assembled a single thing yet. Yeah,
that's funny. I think that's similar. I mean, not in the scale and the size, but in general, it's the same with the project the car that we are building now. But I think Alex started building that car like pretty much almost a year ago now, before we even got any physical, even before we cut up the whole thing. Like, because that way you can actually get everything set and then you're not guessing on if the chassis is gonna work.
Did you see some of the YouTube? Did you see Larry Chen did a YouTube video with Roadster Shop on the Aston Martin, that Martini car that they built? There was a guy that spent over a year full-time in CAD on that car.
I've been hearing like some crazy build hours on that thing. So I wonder what it actually is.
I'm sure.
It's right now it's between 12,000 and 18,000.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Well, I had a customer hit me up right away. He's like, you guys need to build me one of those. I was like, just get them to build it. Yeah, it's like, the numbers are nuts. He's like, well, I can't afford that. I was like, then you can't afford that car.
Right, and then you can't afford it from anyone.
Yeah, that car is too crazy. Like, it literally looks OEM.
Every time I look at him, like I don't even have words.
I know.
The amount of work.
But they built everything in CAD for one car. which is bananas. But it also, it goes back to that thing. Like now you can, if you want to go that far, you can.
Yeah,
Which
you
is
most definitely
incredible.
can. Yeah.
So on the business side of it, like for us, like all the stuff that we do in CAD, it's like our customers still want to see sparks flying all the time, but you're explaining like, hey, we got a whole team of people just working on your car all day, every day. And it's like there's still this disconnect, and then you go to the social media and it's even worse, like just print them. You're like, yes, we can do that, but it's going to take 3 weeks before we get there. So it's like that's still like it's
a new process, right? And if you're not in it, you don't understand it at all. And that's partly on us to educate everybody and get it out there.
That's a big part of it. Like Alex built the whole chassis in CAD, and of course you see these finished chassis, like if we've done roadster shop chassis, it shows up and you're like, okay, cool. And then I go to pick up the profiled parts and it's like, yeah, you got 125 pieces. I was like, what? How many of these did he cut? He's like, well, oh, that's just what he sent me. And I already picked up a batch. And you're like, we got to weld all of this together. Like you don't realize it when you're doing it. But then, yeah, we just had boxes of parts and we were welding for days.
Yep.
Like days on end. Like probably, what did it take us? 4 or 5 days to weld that thing together? So then you start looking at the value of those chassis and you're like, yeah, this is making sense.
Makes sense.
Oh yeah,
That's not even including the engineering side of it.
We
It's
would
like-
only build a chassis if we had to, because you companies like Roadster Shop, they have efficiencies in that process that we will never ever have. So yeah,
But I still
But it was
think
pretty cool to do it because like we got to dial it right in. So it was-
I mean, to customize it, to build it to your spec for your needs, for your build, for the way you're going to use it, like
because we did a rendered build by Ash Thorpe that we're going to bring next year. We didn't make it this year, but like there was no concessions in the design.
That's
which was
rad.
amazing. Like it's like I told him, I was like, we're not going to make it, but I was like, I'm very proud of the fact that there is no deviation from the original render. Like this thing is
awesome opportunity for you guys. Like how many shops get to do that? You know what I mean? That's amazing.
so
Yeah.
it was pretty awesome, and those guys are great. So
Yeah.
and it was like the level of accuracy, because we ended up scanning the body and then the chassis, and you're measuring like, I don't know, man, this looks, are you sure?
Right.
Like you cut it and it just slid right in so nice. Everything fit so good. The panels fit so good. And it's like, and then of course we think back because we've been doing this for a long time, and the left side, right side thing is like, okay, this side's done. Now we got to go do that side. And that side always takes 10 times longer because you got to go back and be constantly
match.
referring to the other side.
Yeah.
So it just made it so cool. And it came together outside of the computer. It came together so fast. But
Right.
it's like in the computer, even small
Yeah.
things we do for customers, you're like, but no, it's ready to go, man. And they're just like,
It's upfront investment, right?
Yeah.
The more, it's almost like the more time you spend in the computer up front, the quicker it's going to be to build it in the end. So that's what I keep telling myself as we're like months and months and months into this day. I'm so desperate to start cutting metal and welding. I want to see it,
Yeah.
but I know that it's got to cook long enough.
our customers are the exact same way. But then Alex, I'm like, what are you doing? And he's just like clutching his head like, oh. I'm like, are you actually doing stuff over there? Poor guy, we just beat him right up.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm used to seeing the same thing, like metal cutting, all of that, but it's easy to start cutting metal, but putting it back together is always the challenge. And a lot of times you get discouraged, but even on my project that I'm doing, because I'm doing a similar thing with a similar suspension geometry as the car that we designed in CAD, and so I'm
He's stealing our design.
whoa.
Like, I did that.
No, I'm like, he's been teaching because I had no experience in any of this.
Heavily inspired by it.
Yes, so he's like, I'm not a CAD guy, so I was like, I want to learn how to design all this stuff, and so literally almost every day at lunch, I'm like, he's having his lunch, his mouth is full of food, and I'm like, so, look at this, what do you think about this, and all of that, but it's pretty cool because I haven't touched a blade, like I haven't cut anything, but the car is completely stripped apart, but I'm pretty much designing, the chassis is almost done now, and I haven't cut anything, and I've been doing it literally for like 6 months.
Yeah.
And so it is pretty cool that you can see exactly how it's going to fit on the computer, and it still translates, especially seeing how that came to be.
And it should, in theory, save you from building it and having it not work, cutting it apart and making adjustments and bending it again, putting it back together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, that's a part of the conversation that we have on the daily, right? Because of course you want to see them sparks flying. You want to get your hands on something tangible, but all that digital work and all that work is so worth it.
Yeah.
I think it helps because even your car, like, it turned out so incredible because there's been versions or guys have attempted it before, and it kind of felt very segmented because they have a theme. And then in the center is this body. It's like they took an F1 car and just like, plunk, there you go. And it's like, but that one is like it's so cohesive in design. It just came together so cool.
Appreciate that. Yeah, we try. I do this with the Mustangs too. Like I try to. There's certain key things like the wheel well openings on a car. You know, like if you have a round wheel well opening on a car and you change it to be more square, it changes the whole identity of the car. You know, so I try. So on the Plymouth, we had to fit over those wheels and tires, and we did some stylish stuff in the front with the fenders, because it doesn't have a bumper anymore. So I wanted that horizontal line in the front. But the wheel openings, if you were to see the original, I actually bent and matched rod to the wheel well openings from the original Plymouth, because I wanted to still read and still have that identity. Like an artist designed that car originally and spent a whole bunch of time problem solving and finding shapes that work together and stuff. So I always start there. If I got to modify it, awesome, you know, we'll figure it out. But I always start with some other artists' like work. Start with their work and continue on it. In video games, we do that a lot with concepts, where a guy will spend a bunch of time doing a concept for a character, and then we'll actually hand it to another concept artist and get them to do another version of that character, like continue with it or whatever, because you get another like perspective, and typically we'll see like the quality will go up every time.
Oh, wow.
So rather than just sort of strip everything away and start from scratch, I love to just leap off of where somebody else left it.
That's such a good way to look at it. And that way too, it also pays, not respect, but it pays homage to the original design, and you're not just starting again.
Yeah, it's just like the patina, right? 90 years.
That patina is nice, man. Like
90 years that car's been around.
Yeah, was it a California car or like Vegas? Okay.
Yeah.
Because that thing has been cooked. Like it's.
Yeah, no. There's no holes in any of the metal. There was no rust holes in any of the body.
Wild.
So I mean, obviously we cut out the floors and stuff, but that was amazing. But yeah, I was like, there's no way I'm erasing 90 years of Mother Nature and the history of this car to spray it anew. Somebody commented, I want to do one of those things. You've seen the things with actors where they're like, they read mean comments about this. Yeah. I'm going to do a post soon about mean comments about our various builds.
Gosh, that would be awesome.
Because somebody said, too bad you can't afford to paint it. You know, when they saw... when I did the reveal of the car, you just get.
I just had a conversation with a Rolls Royce guy, and he was talking about Pebble Beach or something, and then he had made a comment, so I got an opportunity to learn a new word. And he's like, it had been patinated. Like with some kind of
fancy.
Whoa,
Patinated.
I was staring at him like, what do you mean patinated? Now, patina. I was like. So when you see legit, real patina, you can definitely tell a difference. But
that has been the number one thing that people are surprised by.
Is that it's real?
I make a point now to say that's the original paint, and they're like, what? They just assume, everybody assumes it's fake.
Oh, like you just sprayed?
Just assume that we just sprayed it on there. It's like so frustrating to me.
No, but you can see it's not just that, because if you look at even like the gaskets and everything, you can still see the wear in it.
Right.
Oh, it's so cool.
Yeah.
Well, that is, so on the scale of all the cars that you've built, which one has been like, if you could take a whole from, sorry, Ash is just distracted. Oh my gosh, don't go too far. Yeah, what's it called? So on the scale of all the cars that you've built, from this one now to the Mustangs that you've done, the GT40, which one would you say is your favorite now? And don't be like, they're all my favorites. They're all my.
Yeah.
Which one would you say has?
I mean, time will tell on the Plymouth, right? It's still, the jury's out, because
teething phases.
Yeah, we got 90 miles.
Beats you up.
We got 90 miles on it, and there's been leaks and loose bolts, and that's what you go through.
Yeah, it's just built.
I don't know the car yet. I don't. You get to know a car over 500 miles, 600 miles. You really start to learn the personality of the car and what it likes and doesn't like, and where it performs and all that kind of stuff. And I love the cars for their faults and their strengths and everything. So right now, currently, still my favorite car is a '64 Galaxy.
That was
and it's not even so much because I love the way that it looks, but for me, it's the way that it drives and the way that it feels on the road. It was like such a pleasant surprise. That car is just special to drive.
Yeah.
It really is. I was lucky enough to we went to the quarantine cruise recently, and Sean Davis, we had done an Autotopia LA video, and he'd only driven the car like literally like a mile up the road, turned it around, but he'd never spent any time behind the wheel. So we did the quarantine cruise. He drove it for like all day basically.
Yeah.
But he was just, blown away by the way that car. So it's fun for me to kind of share that experience with, because it doesn't drive like anything else I've ever driven. So for me, that's still my. I think the Plymouth is going to be a little too rowdy for me to be like, that's my favorite.
Yeah, you already spun it once, right?
I've already spun it once. It's going to be a car that beats you up, but that's what I mean. A car on a Plymouth, on a GT1 like Trans Am chassis. That's what the reality is going to be on the street. It's going to be rough. It's going to be harsh. It's going to be noisy. It's going to beat you up.
You need to dose of that every once in a while.
Sometimes that's fun.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're in the mood for it. Take it to Cars and Coffee on Saturday and scare yourself, and then park it and like
Okay, this is enough for a while. Okay.
for a little while. I got a heavy dose. So
Yeah, that's so awesome.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, you can kind of see that in every one of your builds. They're all unique.
right.
And you can kind of see like how you're creating, like a little selection of your dreams and your visions
it's because
in each and
they're-
every one of them.
Yeah, it's because these are cars that if we don't wind up selling them, then they're cars that I'll keep.
Yeah.
So they're dream cars for me.
Yeah.
Right. That's the only way I know to kind of promote the company and show the world like, this is what I can build. This is what I would build if you give me free reign. Right. That's what I want to try to do with the company. So I don't see a lot of value in like building the same car. If a customer comes to me and wants me to build a replica or something similar to like a 70 Mustang, I'm excited to do it.
Yes.
It's just, but for me personally, like I've already done that. Now I want to try something radically different. And also it helps like with carbon this time. We keep learning and getting better and developing skills. The APC will take that experience of designing suspension and stuff, and now I'll go into a muscle car needing a lightweight chassis, needing it to be specific and have experience to do it.
Yeah. That's so cool. The evolution is so awesome to see.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to know if it's going to be a full carbon body, that APC.
No, this guy
too
is like
expensive.
very gung-ho on everything should feel real and sound real. So we have to kind of cheat it though, because if we put armored plating on the whole thing,
Well, that's not good.
it would weigh
20,000 pounds.
right. They built that vehicle for the movie off of a airport, like a 747 Tug.
No way.
Yeah, really? They're all-wheel drive, 62-inch tall tires, a gigantic diesel engine in the center of it. It's all diesel engine. There's no storage or anything. It weighed 198,000 pounds.
Okay.
So
Wait, what weighed 198?
the Tug, because you think it's got to pull a 747 on wet tarmac or whatever.
198.
So of course you're like, I got to build one of these. Oh, they built it off of a Tug. I'll just buy a Tug. And then I found one. And I found the weight, and I was like, well, skip that. Like,
We used to build those actually. We used to build like the fuel chassis for like the underwing fuel tanks.
Oh, yeah?
And the axles that were in those things, like they had these big planetary axle sets, and I think each one of them alone was like 5,000 or 6,000 pounds.
Oh my
And we used to have to
gosh.
narrow them to make this crazy chassis.
Right.
And it was like that axles were just fixed straight to the frame, like no suspension, like, and they were monsters.
Right.
Like box tubing, 8-inch, half-inch wall.
So what we're doing is it'll be a thin layer of sheet metal on top of the aluminum honeycomb.
Oh, okay.
So it's like half-inch thick aluminum honeycomb. The honeycomb handles everything, and then we'll bond it to it. So you'll be able to walk around on the roof of it and stuff.
That's insane.
Without bending panels and denting stuff, but also it shouldn't weigh 198,000 pounds.
I can't even wrap my head around that.
So we're solving like so many technical problems, but I love that. I love it. It's so much fun.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming on. I don't know if there anything you guys have, anything else, because
We could go all day, but
Yeah, literally. Yeah. And like the sun is coming down. I'm like, oh.
I thought we kept moving back. I think the planet is moving.
Well, no, the sun is just getting to the top. So I'm like, yeah, we should probably call this one. But thank you so much for coming on. We always love hearing about all the amazing things you guys are up to at Ruffian. And yeah, we look forward to, we've been saying this, but hopefully one day we come down and see you guys.
I know, same. If I'm ever your way, I want to come visit. Yeah.
Please
yeah.
do.
Yeah, we'll let you know when it's not raining though, because we're not sure it's atmospheric warmer, so it's nice being here today.
Awesome. Yeah. Love talking with you guys.
Yeah,
Love
it's been a
hanging out.
pleasure.
Yeah,
Awesome.
always is.
Okay, we'll see you guys later. Thank you guys for watching, listening. If you like this video / podcast, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and go follow Chris Ashton. If you don't know about the amazing things that he builds, he is Ruffian Cars on Instagram and wherever else. Where just Instagram right now? Okay, RuffianCars.com.
Yeah, we're mostly active on Instagram.
And you guys have build books too. So I'm very excited to see the Plymouth build book when that is done.
The book's almost done. I wanted to include some coverage of SEMA. And I also, what I try to do is give people the impression of what it, like talk about what it's like to drive.
Yeah.
So I want to get some more time on it and figure that car out, and then I'll finish it. Then that book will be ready. We're doing one for the APC as well. They're so cool, which is going to be rad.
So cool.
Yeah, I really love that you put those build books out there for everybody to enjoy. I mean, they're not just cool to look at.
Right.
There's a lot of story there.
There's so many people that came up to me at this SEMA and they're like, I'm inspired by you. I got your build book. I'm building a Mustang right now. I'm doing the same steps. This week I got people shared posts where they're basically building like replicas of stuff that we've already built.
That's cool.
And they're kind of timid and being like are you?
I think you're gonna get mad about it.
Right. And I'm just like, dude, that is so cool. Like I love it. If people are wanting to build similar cars themselves, first of all, awesome, go do it. Like get in there and build stuff. That's amazing. And second, it's so complimentary. It just means that people love what we're doing. So we'll just keep doing what we're doing.
Awesome. Well,
Please
thank
do.
you so much.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, thank you so much for building the amazing cars that you do. We're looking forward to all you do with this Plymouth and the APC. So with that said, we'll see you guys later. Bye. Awesome.